At 3 a.m. on February 24th, 2019, Tyler Davis and his wife Brittany returned to the Easton Hilton Hotel after celebrating Brittany's birthday. Disorientation struck Tyler after the Uber ride. He decided to go for a walk and was never seen again.
I'm Abby. I'm Liz.
And I'm Ethan.
We're Heartland Mysteries. So another, disappearance that actually happened in the morning. This one happened around 3 a.m. Tyler Davis and his wife, they were out celebrating Actually, it was Brittany's birthday. They were out celebrating near the Easton Hilton Hotel. They were going to go back. They were in an Uber, and they were going back after a drunken night of celebrating. It was around 3 a.m. on February 24th. This was actually 2019. So this is, 5 years old?
Okay, it's pretty recent.
Four or
Yeah.
5.
So after a night on the town and meeting up with a friend, an Uber dropped them off at the Hilton just after 3 a.m. on the morning of February 24th. Tyler suddenly felt disoriented and confused, claiming they weren't where they were supposed to be, which he was also asleep in the Uber, and his wife woke him up when they arrived there, so that would, maybe
Both
that's
still
why...
drunk, too?
Yeah, still intoxicated. And he was, high-key confused. He was like, this isn't where I'm supposed to be, even though that's the hotel they had booked and that they were previously at before they went partying. So...
Where did they go?
It just says a night... the Columbus Dispatch didn't really say where they went. They just said that they went out partying. So I'm assuming that meant maybe some bar hopping, a lot of drinking. It says they were with a friend, too. They don't disclose who the friend is to them.
Common theme here, huh?
Yeah. Yeah,
Curious.
It's kind of funny how
And the friend was not in the Uber with them on their way back to the hotel, right?
Yeah, it says after a night up on town and meeting up with a friend. So I'm assuming that means that they met up with a friend during the partying, and then they took an Uber back to the Hilton.
Gotcha.
So after, again, Tyler was like, well, what? And so he told his wife Brittany that he was going for a walk.
In February?
In February,
Drunk?
3 a.m., drunk. He was going to go walk for a little bit before going back to the couple's room, and he was still under influence as he went walking. Actually, this is what the Columbus police said, that he was probably still heavily under the influence. So the police said they had a nearly minute-by-minute accounting of where Davis walked until around 3:53 a.m. that day, when he was near Abbott Labs near Stelzer Road and Morse Crossing. An audio clip the police obtained from Davis's phone showed him using voice activation technology to ask for directions back to the hotel. Around 4 a.m., Brittany told the police she got a call from her husband, who told her that he was walking in a wooded area, but he could see the hotel and would be back in a few minutes. His phone pinged off a tower in the area and then appears to have died or been shut off, and he never made it back.
Wow. So he called his wife from, a forest and was like, I'm coming back.
But, where do you find a forest in,
In Easton, right?
Yeah, in Easton.
He said he saw the hotel, too.
And if he saw the hotel,
But he might have been drunk, so maybe it was just a different building.
Now,
He
see,
was
there's a
nowhere
theory.
close.
There's a theory that where his cell was pinged was actually not by the Hilton. The voice clip of him trying that voice-activated technology sounded like that he said, "Take me to Easton Suites," which is different than the Hilton Columbus and the Hilton Hotel.
Oh, so maybe he was kind of looking at his phone and it said, your destination's right there. And he's like, oh, I see it. It's there. But it was a whole different... Did they find a body?
No.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
Still missing.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
so
surprising.
It sounded like he drunkenly said, "Take me to Easton Suites" instead of the Hilton Hotel that they were originally staying at. So maybe where he called his wife and said, "Hey, the hotel is in front of me," wasn't the correct hotel.
There was a hotel. Maybe.
It was a hotel. Brittany tried to call her husband a couple times after that, but to no avail. The phone went straight to voicemail. Brittany reported him missing at around 9:30 a.m. So it was about 5 hours after the last known contact. So it led to a fury of online speculation about Davis's disappearance and Brittany's possible involvement. Because
that's always the thing, right? Spouse is the main suspect in
She was the
these.
last one to have contact with him, so maybe she knew something more that she wasn't fessing up to. So even more than 4 years later, there's no answers about what happened to Davis, and he was declared legally dead in 2021.
Wow.
So there's a couple speculations on, obviously the people on Reddit have very interesting theories about what they believe to have happened. The people nearby in the Easton area say there is a wooded area across the street from the Hilton. Tyler could have found himself in this wooded area and, being February in Ohio, succumbed to exposure. Being drunk in the cold, obviously,
right?
Maybe it was just too much, and
who would have taken the body away?
Exactly, the body still would have been there.
Where did it go?
And like, if they know his rough, like, location, it seems like as soon as somebody goes missing, you kind of go there, and he couldn't have walked far.
I feel like that'd be a pretty easy location to comb too.
Right, like some.
Like, you know, the radius of how far he could have gotten in the amount of time it's been.
Right, and if he was walking and cold and drunk, he couldn't have gone too far from there. So it seems like not finding a body.
And they were dropped off by the hotel that he was staying at. So
right,
I feel like he wouldn't have like gone very far away from that hotel. So.
And it's not like
but if he said Easton Suites in his voice-activated direction thing on his phone,
he could have been farther away, sure,
he could have been going in the wrong direction. He could only get so far
by walking, you know.
Right.
There's still like maybe 2 miles, say, that he could have gotten that far.
Another theory, like, Easton seems to be constantly under construction. Like, right now, at least on the time that this Reddit post was written, they were adding onto the side by Nordstrom. Tyler could have gotten injured in one of the construction areas and then subsequently succumbed to the exposure.
Oh, that's a good point. Easton is always kind of building things and, like, raking up dirt and all that.
So it's just everywhere in Columbus.
Then where would he have been? He got buried under some
maybe
pile
like
of dirt?
A hole in the ground, or something might have fallen from the wind, and then his body just couldn't handle it.
Where'd it go? Where's the body?
Exactly.
Show me the body.
There's no body. Like, there's no reports of a body anywhere.
That's crazy.
That identify. So.
What if it was just like the foreman of the construction site was like freaking out and then just
buried
whisked him away or something?
Because there's I think theory that there was a case a few years ago in Cleveland where a man disappeared during an Indians game. Turns out he fell into a dumpster because he was drunk, and his body was taken to the landfill. So maybe Tyler's body could have fallen into like a sewer nearby or some sort of garbage area in the construction and then just be taken away to a random landfill.
That would make sense, rather than like dying in the forest and just laying there.
Just like step over my body, like, I'm dead.
Right.
Yeah, the vines grew around him in the 4 hours he was gone.
Right, exactly.
He was lost forever.
No, that makes a lot more sense that maybe he fell into something that kind of moved.
Especially if they were building. It's probably open,
wow,
stuff all over the place.
What did the police investigation involve? Do you know? Like, did they search the area?
I'm assuming they did. The Columbus Dispatch article didn't say exactly like how long they searched the particular area. I'm assuming they did a full comb and they couldn't find anything. Like, I don't think in its notes there was no footprints to go off of. All they had was just the ping from his phone. And there's another Reddit post about the ping. They talk about how the map the police provided with the walking directions, he would have gotten back to the hotel, either the Hilton or the other Easton Suites. It would make sense for him to cut across the grass to Stelzer Road instead of taking the long loop around the driveway. If he did that, he'd be walking right past a sewer grate and manhole embedded in the grass. Almost exactly where the trail goes cold. It's not impossible to think that a work crew accidentally forgot to cover one of those gates up and he fell in it. And when they returned sometime later, obviously not knowing that there was a missing person in the area, they sealed it back up without thinking.
That does make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a tough way to go.
It really would. Just randomly falling down, drunk, confused.
Right? He already didn't think he was supposed to be there. What happens if you fall down a hole?
He's like, man, I'm definitely not supposed to be here.
He's like, man,
this is not right.
I'm about 30 feet lower than I should be. Right?
6 feet under, I'm still living.
I was walking, and now I'm on a water slide. This is crazy.
Ugh,
man.
Imagine falling into a sewer grate. Ugh.
I mean, that's kind of crazy, though. Even with, like, modern technology, there's still nothing. Like, it's hard to disappear into thin air.
If he fell into the hole after his phone... Okay, so his phone was shut off. But wouldn't there still be some sort of tracking location, or does that just...
I mean, yeah, there's maps of sewers. They could plot out potential exit points and stuff. That's
be like, oh, if it flowed this way, maybe he'd come out down here or something.
I think it's harder to stay not found than like be found anymore. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So the fact that this took place in 2019 when technology is a lot more advanced, and even more advanced to this day, there's still no evidence about where he ended up.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going to think about that next time I'm at Easton. I bet
Tyler
there's a
Davis
manhole
is in one of these sewers.
Goodness.
Most likely. I feel like that is the most plausible explanation just because of the fact that there was no body found the next morning. I feel like there obviously would have been something about it in the article if there was like, oh, an unidentified body was found in the next couple of days.
Right.
But no, there's nothing.
Wow.
Vanished in thin air. Poof.
R.I.P.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Legally R.I.P.
Actually, this time.
Legally R.I.P.
There we go.
Video script and filming by Abby Mayer. Audio editing by Ethan Girding and Abby Mayer.